The new Magic Design feature in Canva can be a great way to save time. It lets you either use a written prompt or upload your own media, and then based on that, you can create presentations, videos, or social media posts automatically using Canva's AI technology. But this tool does come with its quirks, so in this video, I'm going to cover the good, the bad, and all my tips for getting the most out of this new Magic Design feature in Canva. So I will go ahead and click Try Magic Design here, and then you see that it takes us to the Canva homepage, and it highlights right here this search box on the homepage, which now says use 5+ words to describe your design. Okay, so before we would just use the search for what type of content we were creating. So maybe we would type in Instagram Reel, Facebook cover. Now we can actually type specifically what we want Canva to create. Now, this isn't the only way to use this tool. You can also use this tool from within a project, which we'll go over in a minute. But for now, let's just start by typing a prompt in here and see what kind of results we're going to get and see what options we have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in here, flyer for open house at Crazy Cat Comics. And then I'll provide a few more details. Saturday, November 8th at 1 p.m. Fun, games, and prizes. Now, I'm going to hit enter here in a second, but let me just show you. I could type out a little bit more here, so I'm just going to hit random keys on my keyboard, and then eventually, pretty soon here, okay, now it's cut me off. So I think I calculated it gives you about 140 characters here. So what you want to do is put in the most pertinent details. So the what, when, where, or the what, when, where, why. Try to include the most important details here. And of course, the idea is that it's going to take these details and put them into your design template. So that's going to save you some time and you won't have to do all the work later. Of course, we're going to have to check and see what kind of results it gives us. We're obviously going to have to redo some of the text, but just know that you want to put the most pertinent details in here. You cannot type everything here, but try to put the most basic information. What do you want to create? And then also what format. So I put flyer at the very beginning of this. You want to tell it what kind of format document you want to create. Is it a presentation? Is it a flyer? Is it a social media post? So give it that detail and then the basic what, when, where, and then go ahead and hit enter. And so I'm going to hit enter now, and we're going to see it generate results. Now, normally with this sort of thing, you would just search for what type of media you were creating, and then it's going to give you results down here. So we see since I typed open house, it has lots of open house templates. Of course, we want something much more specific. This is open house for a comic store. And so now we are getting something up here under this Magic Design. This is new. This is showing us the new Magic Design results, which we just generated. And so now it's using that information we gave it. It's attempting to create things we like here with that pertinent information. And so what's nice about this is it allows you to be much more specific and have it sort of customize a template for you. Now, if we were just doing a basic open house, we could have searched open house and seen all these results here. But of course, this Magic Design, I think, really is helpful when you're doing something that's a little bit more, customized, unique, and you're not necessarily going to have that perfect template within Canva, but this Magic Design might let you land on a better starting point. Now, it's going to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 results here. So it's not going to give you tons and tons of results, and you can go through these and see if you like them. If you click on one, then you can go ahead and open it, customize this template. But if you just want to redo them, you can also just hit the refresh button on your keyboard up on your browser here. So refresh, I hit this refresh button, this reload button, and it's taking that same prompt now, but now it's going ahead and it's generating new Magic Design results. So these are a little different than what I got before. Now, you also have filters here. I think all these options that it gives you here aren't necessarily the most helpful. I could come in here and I could say, hey, I actually wanted a social media post, and I could choose Instagram post here, and then it would give me square or portrait. I could click square. But if I do that, it's actually just going to redo all of these designs, and it's going to put it into that square format. So if you decide you want to switch it up and have a different format, you can do that. But I find that it's much more helpful just to put what kind of media you want into the initial prompt so that it creates these initial designs with the dimensions you want, and you don't have to fool around with this categories filter. Now the other filters here is they have media, so you can come in here and you can add a specific media item. In other words, it's just attempted to do random pictures in here, but if I had a specific picture I wanted to apply to this design, I could do that. Now I could also just wait and drop it in once I got into my design itself, once I open one of these templates. And one thing to know is if you do come and add it here, so I'm going to go find a picture that makes more sense for this. So I have this picture here. So I'll go ahead and click this and hit see results. But notice when I do that, it's rebuilding the designs. So if I had gotten a result that I really kind of liked, then I wouldn't necessarily wanted to do this. I would have maybe waited till I opened my design so I didn't lose that design. But if you didn't like any of these results and you were thinking about hitting the reload, but you knew you had to upload media, then go ahead, sure, upload the media, because then it's going to redo these, which you wanted to do anyways, but now it's using that specific media that we pointed it to. And so that can be helpful. And then the other thing is here is brand. You can come in here and you can apply brand colors. Now this is actually a brand that I just, fake brand I created called Crazy Cat Comics. And I did put it in my brand kits. However, it's not showing here. So I find that maybe you have to wait a little while before it shows up here, but you can also just apply that later once you open it. So then of course the next step here would you'd come in here and you'd find one of these you like. If you don't like them, you can reload. Again, you can use this drop down to point to specific media. So maybe I don't care for any of these and I want it to go ahead and generate new ones, but I want to use this different image. So go ahead and see results again. Once again, it's just redoing these results. You don't get crazy variety. So again, sometimes I find if you have something that's not that specific, I just like to search all the pre-made Canva templates and they work fine. You can do customization, but this magic design does come in helpful when you're trying to create something that's a little bit more customized and something that's going to go ahead and have some of that information that you want built into it. So I'm going to click this one because this one looks like it's got a lot of the information I wanted, and so I'm going to go ahead and customize this template, and it'll open up this template. And so it says, join us for a fun day, a day of fun games and prizes. So again, we put that games of prizes prompt into our description. We also gave it a time. Now it hasn't given us the time, so it's a little frustrating because it doesn't take all the information. Even though we only had 140 characters, we did put the date and time into here. So we did mention there were games, and so it has games here, it has prizes, but it hasn't even included the name of Crazy Cat Comics, and it hasn't used the time. Now I could go back, so if I go back and see here, let's see, some of these may have better results. So here, open house at Crazy Cat Comics. So this one does have the name in here. Other ones, let's see, this one does have the time as well. So maybe this one here is looking more like a better result because this one has the name, it has the time, and it has fun games and prizes. So again, it's sort of hit or miss, and you have to sort of pay attention and try to find the right one that's including that information. But if I look at this one here, it says Crazy Cat Comics. It's got the image we want, the colors, and again, all the branding stuff. If I came in now under my brand, it wasn't letting me apply that brand before, but it's recognized that it is that Crazy Cat Comics. But again, if it was this brand here, I could switch to this brand, and then I could come in here. I don't have brand colors here, but let me just switch back. So let me switch back here. You find the brand kit that you want to apply. So this is Crazy Cat Comics. And then of course you can come in here and do things like shuffle the colors and things like that. So all the tools you normally have, but what's nice is without me doing any work other than an initial prompt, it's got the Crazy Cat Comics in here. It's got come to our open house for fun games and prizes. Join us for a day of excitement and laughter. Open house at Crazy Cat Comics, Saturday, November 8th. At 1 p.m. Bring your friends and family to this exciting event, participate in the games, and win exciting prizes. So this one has actually done a pretty good job with the copy. Now, of course, you can come in here and you can tweak this, or you can add new information, or you can take out information. But what is nice is that I have a pretty nice asset now for my event that I can use. And I really did not have to do a lot of work. I pointed it to this one media item, I gave it a little prompt, but it went ahead and created a nice design, and it built in that information. If I tried to do this totally from scratch, I could probably do it pretty quickly. It might only take me 10 minutes, but that's 10 minutes where I've saved a lot of that by using this magic design tool in Canva. So again, it's not a perfect tool, but it can save you some time. Now let's walk through a couple other examples on how you can use this new magic design feature in Canva. So in that first example, we just had it create a one-page flyer, but what if we wanted to do something like a multi-page presentation? What if we wanted to use this tool to help us with our presentation? So I'm going to come up here and let me type something like presentation on the fundamentals of graphic design. So again, I'm telling it what type of media I want. I want a presentation. I'm telling it the topic, graphic design. And then I think it's always a good idea if you can be as specific as possible. So maybe I'm going to say emphasizing color theory. And it's letting me know I can't spell here. So I left out some characters there. So emphasizing color theory. So again, you don't have information, you don't have enough space here to give it tons and tons of information, but you want to be as specific as possible. And I can say I want to emphasize color theory so that I can make this presentation maybe a little bit more closer to what I'm looking to create. And then also, let me try something. I'm going to come back here. I want to show you this. I'm going to come back, and instead of presentation, I'm going to put 10-page presentation. Let's test what the capabilities of this are. Is that going to work? Let's see. So 10-page presentation on fundamentals of graphic design, emphasizing color theory templates. Now again, we have results down here, but then here this magic design is showing us the results. And if I hover over this, we see 1 of 7. So it created 7 pages. And if we go over all of these, 1 of 7. So that's the first sort of disappointing takeaway, is you can tell that you want it to create a certain number of pages. It's not going to do that. It's just going to do what it wants to do. And for presentations, it seems like 7 is the number of pages it's going to return to you. And again, you can come through, you can look at these different ones to see what the style of the presentation is. And if you hover over it, it's just going to go ahead and it's going to show you the different slides. And then of course the same drop downs here if you want to apply specific media, if you want to apply specific brand. So let's say this brand here was this Learning with Greg with these colors. I could click see results. And again, if I do that, it's just automatically going to apply the brand colors. So it doesn't redo it when you change the brand. If you do point to a different media, it's going to redo all these templates. But again, with these presentations, it gives you pretty basic design. It's not going to give you tons and tons of options. So I don't think you necessarily get the most creative design in terms of layout when you use this magic design feature to create a presentation. But again, it does get you past the blank page. It does give you a starting point. So let's choose this one here. I'm going to go ahead and choose customize this template, and I'm going to show you a little trick if you actually wanted to generate more than 7 pages. So let's jump into this. We're going to choose customize template. We're going to jump in here, and so now we have the fundamentals of graphic design, a guide to color theory. So we see it has taken our advice and it's made it specific to color theory. So if we look at the first slide here, introduction to graphic design, understanding the basics of the color wheel is essential for effective graphic design. So again, with all these things, you are going to want to come in and proofread. And a lot of times you might want to cut something, you might want to add something, you might want to change it to your own language, your own dialogue, add in some more details. But it does, in a smart way, go out and research that topic, use that AI technology, and can give you a good information. Now, it may be hit or miss depending on the topic and how specific you need to be, but for a general topic like graphic design, it does do a pretty good job of going out there and pulling good information. Now, this is all specific to color theory because that is what I asked it to do, so it's giving me a lot of good stuff. It talks about the color wheel, it talks about some other things, and then it gives you a little ending slide here. Now, if I didn't want this slide, of course, I could come and say delete this page and get rid of this page. But what if maybe color theory was part of my design I wanted to do, my presentation, but maybe I wanted to create a presentation that included more aspects of graphic design. Maybe I also wanted to talk about hierarchy or something like that, or typography, something like that. So what could I do as a trick if I wanted to add even more pages to this? Well, here's something you could do. Again, under this design tab here, this is where you get the same prompt. So you get that prompt from the home page, but here under the Design tab in Canva, you have the same ability to come in here and tell it what you want it to create. So let's just say presentation on the importance of typography in graphic design. So I could do something like this now, and now it's going to do the same sort of thing we did before, where it's showing me just some generic templates down here, but up here it is using my prompt and it's creating some results here. Now, if you're going to take some of these and apply them to the existing project here, you do sort of want to pay attention to the styling here. And this is where maybe the fact that it does some pretty basic layouts and pretty basic styling is maybe a good thing, because if we're adding to this existing presentation, we don't want a style that's going to be, totally different from what we have already. So what if I wanted to apply some of these new results to this design here? Well, let me just click on this first one here, and again, it's returning 7 pages. But if I come in here and look at these pages, and let's say I want to add some of these to my design, well, if I apply all 7 pages, what it's going to do is it's going to overwrite what I already have. So I could do that, and it's overwritten my previous thing. Well, I didn't actually want to do that, so let me hit Control Z on my keyboard to undo that. What I really have to do then is apply these one at a time. So if I come in here and just click on this page here, add template as a new page, yes, add as a new page. So if I click to a blank page, I could do it the same way here, where I can go ahead and add this as a new page. And so suddenly now you can really do this as many times as you want. So you could have different topics in mind, and then you could use this strategy of coming in here and under the Design tab, generating some new ideas using this prompting tool, and then automatically adding them to your design. Now, again, you should proofread. You should make sure you're getting the information that works for your design. It's not a magic tool where it's going to just, you type a few things and you're done. You're going to have to research the topics you want. You're going to have to provide that information here, and then you are going to have to make sure that it is returning good information. It's on you to double check. And then of course you may want to come in here and you may want to stylize everything. Of course, now that I have everything in here, I could come under my brand thing here and I could say yes, shuffle this, and suddenly it's going to apply this. It's just applying this to one page if I do it like that, but if I do apply to all pages, then suddenly it's going to apply that coloring to all my pages, and so now I have a little bit more of a unified design. Now we do notice that the sort of the design elements on this first project are a little different with this sort of border that they use on images than we're getting in this one here, but I think it's still cohesive enough, but that's just something to keep in mind. So again, just another way to use this tool is you can come under the Design tab once you already have something open, and you can type prompts in here. And then if you want to do that multiple times, as long as you're not adding all the results, in other words, you have to add it one page at a time, you can add those results to your existing information. And so this is a way where you can do multiple prompts where you're more specific on a subject, and then you can do that as a way to save some time and have some work done for you. Okay? So again, you're not going to be able to have it create a whole project for you and just have it be perfect. That's very unlikely. You're still going to have to go in here and do some work, but the idea is it is a way to save some time. And of course, anytime we can save time in Canva, we love that. Okay, so take advantage of this tool. Now let me show you a third and final way you can use this Magic Design tool, and that's for creating designs based on your media. Okay, so what if you have a couple of images and you want to turn those into a video, or maybe you have some still images in a video? How would you take that and have it spawn a design based on your media? So if you remember, when we type the prompt, we would get results here, and we have the option of using this media drop-down. The problem is it only lets us point to one file. The same thing applies if you come up here under Create a Design, or actually let me go in here where I typed in video, and I could choose the media here and I could select the file, but again, it doesn't let me shift clicked. I can't select the multiple files. The same thing applies if I come to Create a Design. It says start creating from your media, but if you try it this way, it's only going to let you point to one file. So the trick is, what you really need to do is you need to be in certain document formats, and then within certain document formats, it lets you use the new Magic Design feature where you can point to multiple pictures and video. You can give it multiple media items as a starting point. So a key thing I want you to remember is this is really when you want to take content and create a video from that content, or a social media story that's sort of going to be in that video format. So Canva only shows you this tool, this new ability, when you're in a document that it thinks is going to end as a video. So let me just show you what I mean. I'll jump over to this next thing here. And so here I just typed the video, I opened up the blank video template, and see now we have this generate videos instantly option up here at the top of the left menu when we're under design view. And that is really what we're looking for. So here it is under a video file. If I go into another format, which is conducive to, you know, animation, we have Instagram stories. So this was the Instagram story template. And once again, I have the option for generating videos instantly. However, if I go into some other document formats like presentation, then suddenly I'm not seeing that option on top of the design menu to the left. Same thing applies if I'm doing something static like a poster. For certain formats, it's not going to show you that feature. So you have to know that going in. You want to open up something that's going to be a social media story or it's going to be a video file. You want to do something like that. So I'm going to come back here to the video one and let's go over how this is going to work. So I have a blank file here and I know I want to create a promotional video and I know I have some assets already that are going to make a good starting point. So what I'm going to do is choose this generate videos instantly. And again, what it does now is it just looks under your recent uploads. So the first step would be to upload these assets to your uploads section. And then you're going to be able to come under here and you're going to choose them. So let's imagine that I was doing something for a recipe book. So I could come in here and do something like select this, this, and once you've selected a couple, it's going to ask you to describe it down here. So let's just imagine that I was doing something for a dessert recipe book. So I could come down here and I could say promotional video for a free dessert recipe book. Subscribe to our mailing list to get your free copy. So again, just giving it some basic information. And so you see I also ran out of characters here. So let's just say, go back up here and say get a free copy. So it only gives you a limited amount of characters, but you type in some basics. And of course, the important part here is check in all the assets that you want to be part of your new video. And then you're going to go ahead and hit generate. And it's going to go and do the magic work where it's taking your media, it's taking that little prompt you give it. So you still want to give, you know, the important things in your prompt, and then it's going to go ahead and generate our video. Now let's take a look and see what it has generated. So very quickly was able to just take these still images and turn it into this little promotional video that has a nice call to action. And so this is a nice way to engage with our audience. This is a nice way to create something that's an asset for a business very quickly without having to spend a lot of time on it. So again, there are going to be things where you want to be very intentional in how you create things. And so this isn't always going to be the way you want to go. But for a lot of things, when you just have a couple still images or a couple clips and you want to very quickly put it together into something with a music track, with some animation, and you just want to automate that, that's where I think this generate video instantly option is very helpful and can save you a lot of time. Let's just work one more example. For this example, I'm now in the Instagram story format. And again, since this is a format where it expects you to create animations and videos, things that you're going to export as MP4s, it again has this generate videos instantly option that we can take advantage of to point to our own media and base our design off that media. So I'm going to go ahead and click this now, and I'm going to scroll down through my uploads. So one thing about this is it would be nice to sometimes be able to point to generic Canva elements or things you have in folders, because I tend to organize things in folders. So I don't love that we only have to search under our uploads for files that we're going to use, but that's something to keep in mind. Again, I think it would be nice, and hopefully in the future they'll expand this so you can go to a specific folder, but for now you just have to click things under your uploads. So this time I'm actually going to select a couple video clips, and then I'll combine that with a few still images. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. And we'll go ahead and hit generate. And oh, I forgot to type in my prompt here. So let's say promotion for Happy Tales Animal Shelter Adoption Day event, Saturday, March 5th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And again, we're just trying to keep the basic information here. So the most pertinent information, as many details as you can, but you have a limited number of characters, so you really want to hit on the most pertinent information. Then we're going to go ahead and click generate. Okay, so let's see what it's created. First, I'm just going to go through the pages here and see any places where maybe I might want to move the text. I guess I can leave that top part there for now. I'm not going to worry about that for a minute. I sort of messed that up, but that's okay. I'm just sort of moving some of the elements here. That one's probably okay. That one's okay. So again, you can jump in here real quick, move along anything you need to, and then I'm going to come back and hit play here. Let's drag our playhead back to the beginning. Let's see what we got. So are you looking for a furry friend? Come to Happy Tales Animal Shelter's Adoption Day. We have lots of animals waiting for their forever homes. Will be open from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, March 5th. So come down and find your new best friend. Okay, so that's good because it took all of the pertinent information, it added a music track, it gave it a little animation, and it got it all into a nice sort of cohesive video. So again, this isn't a perfect feature, but I do think it is pretty cool, and very quickly you can generate something that's almost ready to go. Now let me show you one more thing. I'm going to come over under brand here, and I have it on this different brand here, but let's come in here and let's select this Happy Tales brand. So we're on this brand, and then I'm going to come back under the design window, and even though I have a video created already, imagine I wanted to add something else to this. So this is an Instagram story. Think of it as chapters in your story. So let me just come in here, and I'm going to use this feature again, and I'm going to come back in here and check this one, and this one, and this one. I think these are different from what I did before, and say something like promoting the value of having a dog in your life, adoption day event at Happy Tales. See you there. Something like that. I'm just giving it a little bit of information for it to use as the text, and I'm going to go ahead and hit generate, and it's going to generate this video. And even though I have a video already, what's going to happen is it's not going to get rid of that. It's just going to add on to that. So now I'm going to hit play again. And of course, the first part of this, if I drag my playhead back, is that's I'm trying to get it to grab my playhead. There we go. So this is the first part, which we already saw. Let me hit play. But then, since I did it again, now suddenly it's switching up music, it's adding a new track, and it's bringing in that new information, that new video I created. So this is kind of cool because what you can do is and then let me show you too, at the end here, it has our brand logo. So since I selected my brand underneath here, even though I didn't select this as an element specifically when I did the upload media option here, it automatically added it as the final part of our video. Okay, so I know I've got a little jumbled here, but just to clarify and tell you again, what we've done here is we were able to use this to generate a video. We gave it some prompts, and then we went in a second time and we added some different pictures, some different media, gave it a few different prompts, and it incorporated those and it added to our existing video. Now, it does transition from one song to the other, so you could keep it that way, or you could say, actually, I want to get rid of this track, and I want to come in here and I want to expand this one track, so now we just have one track that spans our whole video. So if we get to that transition point now, let me just drag this along, and suddenly it switches over and it keeps going with the same music, okay? So this does take some playing around to get used to it, but it is cool because you can do as many different times as you want. You can run this and you can just have it build upon itself. So if you're someone that does slightly longer Instagram stories, you might have sort of chapters within those stories. So maybe you upload 3 pieces of media, you give it one prompt, and then you upload 3 more pieces of media, you give it a slightly different prompt, but you can have them all here on one timeline, one project to put them together into one Instagram story. So again, this is the magic design feature in Canva where you can enter prompts and get it to generate things on your prompts, or you can use this generate videos instantly option. You can point to some still images, you can point to some videos, and then you can add prompts as well. And so again, both tools that are very helpful using AI technology just to create some things instantly using your guidance, and it can save you a lot of time. So check out these features. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like these sort of in-depth Canva tutorials that go over all the options, then feel free to subscribe this channel below, hit the bell icon for notifications, and I hope to